Welcome to a podcast of fantasy and romance, or as we like to lovingly call ourselves, APOFAR, where your hosts, Ashley,
And Anna.
explore epic tales of fantasy and romance in your favorite books. We will bring you a wide range of book club books by highlighting indie authors, authors that aren't big household names yet, and yes, covering your big favorite releases. We will discuss the worlds, characters, stakes, and relationships that they created while adding our breakdown and theories as well.
So, thank you for giving APOFAR a chance. And again, my name is Anna. Yes, we had to give a nod to the acronym Book Talk, lovingly created for SJM, for her creation of A Court of Thorns and Roses series. Why? Because it worked way too well for our podcast name not to be used, and it makes me happy. I am a travel nurse working across the country trying to explore the world and spend time in my reading era while ignoring the world. When I was young, I actually kind of hated reading. Nothing kept my interest until my parents would take turns every night reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone to me. When we completed the first book, I begged them to restart it, and my mom just literally handed me the book and told me to go for it. I've been obsessed with fantasy ever since. This led me into being an avid fan fiction reader too. So if you need recommendations, I got you. So here I am now as an adult and learning to love reading again while discovering my adult Roman Empire. Here's looking at you, Throne of Glass. I want to continue to chase that feeling, and that feeling when you discover a story so magical that it changes you to your core. And like any good friend, I will drag my besties with me, kicking and screaming on this journey. So here, that's why Ashley's here, or she kind of dragged me, really. So yeah.
Okay. Ashley here. I'm a stay-at-home mom of a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old. My love of reading started when I was very young. There isn't a time I can remember when I didn't have my nose or head stuck in a book and I wasn't writing my own short stories. I used to get in trouble for being so engrossed in my books that I wouldn't notice anyone talking to me. My love of fantasy really started with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and The Hobbit and the Lord of Rings, which I read when I was about 11. From there, I read series like Harry Potter, Divergent, and The Hunger Games. I love most fiction genres, but fantasy romance and fantasy are my favorite. Anna and I met when we were both nurses on the same hospital floor, and she would recommend a series to watch or read, one of them being Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare, and I loved it. She gained the reputation with me that if she was recommending something, I was going to like it. So when she told me in February of 2024 that I needed to read ACOTAR, I was immediately on board and I devoured them. And then we decided to have a book club and read the same fantasy romance books so we could talk about them. A few months ago, we decided we needed to share our book club thoughts with other people. And so that's why we started this podcast. And instead of just covering big releases, we also wanted to cover indie authors and authors that aren't as big as some of the household names yet. So we are going to pay attention to some of those as well. Our first two episodes are going to be Phantasma by Kaylee Smith and then Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. We have already read Phantasma and we are excited about that.
Loved
Record
it.
episode. Yeah, it was really good. So definitely go read it if you haven't. Then come listen to our podcast whenever we release that one. And then some of the other books we're planning on for sure are Jennifer Armentrout's Primal of Blood and Bone. We are going to hopefully do a review episode of everything you need to know before and
There's a lot of
do
books in that
Primal
series,
of Blood
so
and Bone.
it'll
Yeah. There's the prequel
you need it.
series.
You need a summary.
Yes. So that's one of our plans. And then we are looking forward to Burn of the Everflame by Penn Cole, which is supposed to be released sometime this year. So we've been waiting for that one for a while, and we want to cover that one when it does come out. And we're big fans of When the Moon Hatched, and the sequel to that one by Sarah A. Parker is coming out in February of 2026. That was at least the latest information, so we will cover that also. And then in between all of those, we will pick other indie authors and some smaller books, things like that. So that's kind of our plan for right now.
Yes, I'm very excited. We're going to consume these books. Have I mentioned that I want to read the second of When the Moon Hatched so bad? And I wonder if it's going to be like just as big as the first one because the first one's huge. Like, I don't even know how many pages it is. Do you know?
Well, I have it right here on my shelf.
Oh, that's true. I feel like that's going to be multiple episodes, but I guess it kind of just depends on how everything goes. Oh, that's so pretty. Is that
Special
a special
edition.
edition?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's
I'm
fairy
living
loot.
vicariously through Ashley because she has a home to put these books in. I live
Travel.
in places that are not mine. So,
541 pages this one was. I bet it will be
yeah,
at least this big, if not bigger. That's my
right?
guess.
I can't wait. Anyway, so come and join us in all those adventures. Please come listen to us struggle and learn how to talk while being filmed. It's not very easy, guys. I don't like it. But it's fine. We're going to figure it out. So, thank you for listening. We are a baby podcast just starting out. So, it would be helpful if you would rate us and review us. Tell us what you want us to read, if you have suggestions. We plan on maybe playing like games and kind of just doing some different segments in our podcast as well. You could follow us and rate us on a couple of listening platforms that you follow and social media. We are a podcast of fantasy and romance on Instagram and YouTube. And on TikTok, it's a pod of fantasy and romance. Our first episode will be again Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. And we're really excited about it. We already read it. Come and find out what we actually think, though. You know, we might surprise you. Who knows? And remember, only you can decide what breaks you. So it's been great. We'll see you next time. Stay cool.